Hey friend, this week Mercury moves into Aries, joining many other energies that are in that sign. And when the planet of your mind, your words, and your voice hits the sign of bold new action, well, what you say out loud matters this week a lot. Coffee up. As your anti-doom, no BS astrologer and tarot reader, I'm going to see what the cards have to say about what you are speaking into existence in the week ahead, April 12th through the 18th. And you do want to pay attention to this because Mercury is also meeting up with Neptune on the 16th. And that means your words can either build your dream or build a delusion. Let's see which one it is for your sign. All right, Aries, let's see what you need to know for your week ahead. April 12th through the 18th. Using your mind for bold new beginnings or affirming illusions and delusions. Let us see what is going on. Aries. Oh, we have an Ace of Pentacles. Love it. And a Ten of Wands. Interesting. And a Two of Pentacles. All right. This is what I feel. And I believe this came up for you last week also. So this is interesting. Okay. Beautiful Ace of Coins. Absolutely gorgeous. Seed planting, which has been a big motif, a big theme with the readings for everyone in the last couple of readings I've been doing on the channel. This is some sort of bold new beginning when it comes to your material world. So whatever plans, schemes, ideas, because we're talking about Mercury in your sign, that you have for your finances, how you want to use your inventiveness, your boldness to create a new path for your finances. All right. But we have a Ten of Wands in the middle. And then we have this Two of Coins. So, if you want to make progress, right? Go from the Ace to the Two and start getting balls rolling for yourself. You got to clean up the blockages. You got to clean up some stuff that might be still hanging around this Ten of Wands. And I would also say your Mercury energy needs to decide what is really valuable. Like these two coins you're holding, you're holding in your hands here. You can see here's our little coins. We can't do everything. We only have energy for certain things. It's just the reality of life. So, you might be telling yourself, well, I can take on one more thing, Ten of Wands. I can do it all. And if anybody can do it all, it really is an Aries. Okay, it absolutely is. But even Aries people have limits. And this Ten of Wands is saying, finish something up that really can be put aside. That is not part of your growth forward. That's the other thing. This is a completed cycle, a completed energy cycle. Why are you going to drag that energy into the future? So there could be perhaps, because this is your energy, this Ten of Wands, there could be something to make a decision that you are leaving something firmly and truly behind in your past. Something you have been doing previously, maybe for work. This could be about starting a whole new path forward of using your energy for making money, a whole new career, a whole new vocation, a whole new side hustle, whatever you have going on. But there could be a reluctance here a little bit because, again, Mercury, right? Can I really let go of something I already did build? But maybe it's the time. It's a time to do that. Now, this week, we do have your new moon in Aries. That will be happening in a separate video. I'm going to be talking about all of that energy. So make sure you check the link in the channel for that video, okay? Because it is a time of new beginnings for everybody, but especially for you. I mean, there's going to be 7 energies in your sign for your new moon. So, okay, but again, this is saying, Ten of Wands, wrap something up so you can start getting seeds planted and moving forward with this new money path, this new way you want to decide to use your mind to monetize it in whatever way this shows up for you. You might have 2 things you're deciding. And I would just say, because Mercury is going to meet up with Neptune on the 16th, that you absolutely get clear. Make sure you're clear on which one of these is maybe a pie in the sky fantasy and which one is more realistic for you, depending on your energy levels, your resources, your timing, all of these types of things. All right, Taurus. So the question this week, Mercury in Aries, are you choosing bold new beginnings, or are you going to choose illusions, fantasies, delusions, etc.? Okay, so let's see what we need to know about your mindset this week with this Aries energy of Mercury in Aries being bold and fearless, but also meeting up with Neptune. So let's see. Just a little dicey. Oh, we have a 6 of Wands. Okay. Beautiful owl. I love this deck. And the Queen of Swords. Wow. And the 5 of Coins. All right. Interesting, because this also showed up for you last week. Different deck, but also showed up last week. All right, so we're just reading all of this holistically, but what I would say here to this, we have the ultimate mindset person in the middle of this reading, which is the Queen of Swords. So this can be about, you can either choose, the two choices are here. You can choose to hold your head high and move forward into something that uses your energy in a victorious way, in a visible way, in a very life-affirming way, this 6 of Wands. And it's also your wisdom, your natural capabilities. This owl here on the card. Versus the 5 of Coins, which is feeling like perhaps a sense of lack, the illusion of separation and lack. You'd like this illusion, again, Mercury conjunct Neptune, the illusion of Aries, Mercury Aries, I'm all alone, I'm abandoned by the universe, nobody gets me. That's a 5 of Coins coupled with Mercury, Neptune conjunct in Aries. You know, woe is me, poor little me, etc., right? But this is the thing that's going on this week, is the choice, and there's the Queen of Swords. And she, I think, is snapping you back into reality a little bit, that, as we know, the mind is very, very powerful. And this is like, you have built-in reserves of wisdom, of capability, of leadership. You can lead yourself out of whatever way you are feeling lack, or you can choose to stay stuck in the illusion and delusion of separation. That's what I feel, okay, is going on here. So the Queen of Swords, like, look at it objectively. Maybe have a strong talk with yourself. I mean, like, Taurus, snap out of it. Right? Like, this 6 of Wands, I feel, is so vibrant and so alive for you in terms of using the energies this week, you know, but it's always a choice. It's always, that's what I say here. You know, we read what comes up. It's, you know, it's a choice. Venus is still in your sign until April 24th. So again, you know, this mindset shift could start bringing in more abundance for you as you're feeling the vibe of Venus going through your sign. But, you know, we all have moments of a little bit of a wobbly nature, you know, like, and that's okay. That's only normal. But I would say, like, really tap into just this 6 of Wands, this innate, fiery, I got this, I can do this, I can manifest whatever I want. My mind is truly, this Queen of Swords, the most powerful tool I have at my disposal. All right, Gemini, let's see what you need to know. April 12th through the 18th, Mercury into Aries. Are you choosing bold new beginnings, or are you going to stay stuck in illusions or delusions? Let's see. Let's see what we need to know about your mindset this week. You're a ruling planet, of course, so it's important to pay attention what Mercury is doing. Your mind could be moving very, very fast with, you know, Mercury and Aries. Let us see. We have the High Priestess. Wow. And we have the 2 of Wands. Wow. Double 2s here. And then what is this? The Hangman. All right. And a 2 can also, this 2 is interesting. It can be about a pause. This is what I feel. Oh, I'm getting chills down my legs, Gemini. Gemini! this is going to be, I think, a very important week for you. But this is what I would say, and always you use the energies as you see fit. You are going to get, I think, very strong intuitive hits and downloads, which makes perfect sense. Mercury conjunct Neptune, the planet of course, intuition, dreams, the ethers, messages like just downloading. We have the Pisces energy showing up here with the Hangman, ruled by Neptune. High Priestess, associated with the moon, but also sometimes associated with Pisces. So, wow. The Two of Wands is the key here. The Two of Wands, you can see she's holding two rods in her hands. Here she is in the middle, which very much looks like the Gemini glyph, right? your sign looks like the double lines. Hold your horses. This is what I feel. Write down everything that you're getting downloaded, all the messages. And you may get a lot of messages also, this Hangman, which is Pisces, your 10th house of career. You may get a lot of career inspirations, ideas for ways you want to move forward in your career, projects, way to solve problems, like all of this type of energy. It's going to come fast. There's lots of downloads. It might come through dreams as well. The key is to hold your horses, Two of Wands, and just wait another week before you implement anything, which makes sense also because you want to wait and implement after the new moon in Aries, 17th, 18th. Anyway, you want to wait a couple days after that and then implement. So that's what I feel, because all of these cards technically are not action-oriented cards. They are about pausing, noticing, waiting, assimilating, tuning in. And High Priestess, there could be some sort of like secret also revealed, which can be the Mercury Neptune. It's possible. But here's the other thing I would say too. You may need a little time to, if somebody's giving you a piece of information this week, you may need a little time to figure out if it really is a truth or it's a Fibonacci. Because Mercury conjunct, your ruling planet conjunct Neptune, can bring out the liars, the Fibonaccis, as I call them. So that's what I'm saying. Like, I feel a lot is coming at you thick and fast this week. Just so much information, so much intelligence, whether spiritual intelligence, literal pieces of information, etc. Just take it all in. Run it through your own intuitive faculties, but sit on it for now, this Hangman. Wait, pause with it a moment. Hold it in your hands. I really want you to look at this Two of Wands, girl. Hold it in your hands before you go rushing forward. That is the whole key, Gemini. So promise me, let me know in the comments, you'll do that. All right, Cancer, let's see what you need to know about using your mind to decide on bold new beginnings or illusions, delusions, and Fibonacci's, as I like to call liars. All right, let us see. Let us see. Mercury, Aries, bold decisions, kind of thinking fast, thinking on your feet, but also with a conjunct Neptune, staying stuck in fantasy land. So let's see what you need to know. We have a King of Pentacles. Well, that is not fantasy land. That is cold, hard facts and reality. And then we have the World card. And then we have the Knight of Pentacles. Okay. Another card of reality. And one that does not move fast either. Okay. So there could be a piece of information coming into you this week, coming toward you, that has consequence to your world. I think it's good news because the World card is excellent. The issue here is I may need to take my time in making this decision. Because of the Knight of Coins and because of this King of Coins, like this King of Coins is going to do his homework. He's going to run the facts and figures. He's going to make sure he has all the resources he needs. He may also be taking care of a group of people, whoever, if this is you or somebody close to you, taking care of more than just him or herself. And so before this person moves forward with a decision, before you move forward with a decision, Cancer, it is, let me hold the reins tightly. Let me hold it up. Let me really look at what's going on. So this is interesting. Mercury's going into Aries, your 10th house of the public. We have a world card here, which is the public in some way. This may have something to do with how you earn your money, a public role you have, your visibility in terms of earning money, what you do for work. And it could also perhaps, since the world is ending, this has also come out recently. I think last week we were discussing a similar vibe. It's interesting how sometimes energies like echo out, reverberate out over a couple of weeks in slightly different guises, but it's a core key similarity that you like maybe dealing with decisions about changing up your work world, whether you're retiring, whether you want to move on to a different role. Maybe this might have something to do with self-employment because the king is showing up here. It's possible. So this Knight of Coins really is the linchpin here. Before you make any major decisions that would radically change your world when it comes to your stability financially, you stop and think. Because Mercury in Aries is hot-headed. This is in your 10th house, as I was saying. So normally Cancer, right? Yeah, you can get emotional, very emotional one day. The next day, be cool as a cucumber. That's the nature of Cancer, right? It's the emotional waves that you ride. It's part of why we love you. All right, look. Mercury, though, in Aries is very hot-headed. And so you just want to make sure whatever decisions you are making, especially in this area of career, are not motivated by a knee-jerk, hot-headed reaction or based in false evidence appearing real, fear, which can be Mercury conjunct the Neptune. If something is not clear, but it triggers, it's very Mercury in Aries, it triggers you in a flight or fight response, probably more fight because it's Aries. And then you're like, whatever, take this job and you know where to shove it. And then what happens next? So that is not the approach we recommend with these, you do you, but this is not the approach that is signaled by these cards. This approach is hold up. Let me look at this from a mature and responsible point of view, especially with my finances. King of Coins, Knight of Coins. Dial it back. Again, look at that pentacle in your hand. We have all been in toxic. I would say if we took a poll right now, we did a poll on the YouTube channel here. I bet it would come out to probably 98% of people have experienced at least one toxic workplace or incident or situation in their lifetimes. At least one, probably more like 3 to 5. Maybe I'll put that poll. Let me know if you want that poll. Type POLL in the comments and I will put it on the channel. But stop and wait and think. Even if it is a toxic situation, the way the world is these days, it is better to take a measured approach before any hot-headed thing kicks off and then you regret it later. So that's what I would say. Be responsible to yourself, your world, what you need to do before you make any decisions of ending something and saying F it. All right, Leos, let's see what you need to know. Mercury moving into fellow fire sign Aries on the 14th. This is our weekly for April 12th through the 18th, but then Mercury will meet up with Neptune in Aries on the 16th, which can be, big dreams, choosing bold, exciting new dreams for ourselves, or it can be I'm choosing illusions, delusions, or I'm listening to lies and Fibonacci's, as I like to call them. So let's see what's happening for you, Leo. Well, we have some temperance. And we have a 6 of Cups. And we have you, a King of Wands. All right. Now, Temperance is your Sagittarian energy. That's your 5th house of your heart space. Fellow fire sign also. We have the cute little 6 of Cups. Look at those 2 little girls together. So cute. So, all right. We have some beautiful energy here. So, Mercury is going into your 9th house of expansion. So, and we got your energy. I think the thing here is the Temperance, which is about the balance. This is not so much about, I'm just going to, throw caution to the wind and just upend my whole life. This is, I'm going to take a more balanced approach. Temperance. Okay. 6 of Cups. It could be that there is some sort of partnership involved. Maybe there's something about this going on this week with your children. Maybe it's something about your children getting activated and the dreams they want to pursue for their lives. That's also possible. And you acting, because you're showing up here as the King of Wands, acting as the dream coach, as the loving, supportive, but also realistic in terms of, energy and what it's going to take to make something happen for your kids or a younger person in your life. It doesn't have to be, your literal child. But this can also be too some sort of energy of expansion that would really just reinvigorate your life. The 6 of Cups is youthful energy. It's joy and happiness. So I think there again here is about the balance between pie in the sky, which is can be Mercury and Aries, especially conjunct Neptune, just like la la la, pie in the sky. Let's just throw caution to the wind, as I said. Or we can still have that fresh, invigorated energy of expansion, but keep the balance. And that is really the key. So that's what I would say for you this week. Maybe find a way you can carve out a couple of hours in your day or at some point this week for you to reinvigorate yourself with something that brings you expansive joy, whatever it might be. Now, we are talking about Mercury this week, so this could be something to do with your mindset, just things you enjoy as hobbies, reading, writing, conversing with people, socializing, all of these types of things. Maybe a little short day trip if that's possible, because again, we're talking about your 9th house. Like these types of things that bring that youthful spirit, that reinvigorate your energy. That's also this King of Wands that is showing up here. So I think you're going to make a new plan for yourself with this. And I think you're part of this energy is to just bring more joy back into your life in a way that freshens up your mind. I think that is really the key that I am getting here. Like if you've been kind of down in the doldrums or you feel like in a rut, like same old, like this is the week to start kind of shaking it up a little bit with your own mindset. All right, Virgo, let's see what you need to know. April 12th to the 18th, Mercury moving into Aries on April 14th, meeting up with Neptune on April 16th. So is this a bold new dream that's going to transform your life? Are you choosing that? Or are you maybe choosing to stay stuck in illusions or delusions or excuses of why you can't do something? Mercury conjunct Neptune. It's your choice. Let's see what the cards have to say. And this energy is happening in your 8th house of transformation. Something you choose this week and or in the next couple of weeks while Mercury is in Aries could really change your life. It really could. It could help you heal. It could help you shift out of some shadowy material that's been hanging around in your consciousness. Let us see, Virgo. Oh, we have a 9 of Wands. And we have the Lovers. And we have a Queen of Cups. Okay. So we got some Gemini showing up here. Of course, your ruling planet is Mercury, as is Gemini's. Gemini is your 10th house of the public, of career. We have a 9 of Wands. So like the 9 of Wands is you're hanging in there. You are strong, but you have been maybe through some stuff lately that, look at her face. Like she doesn't look that excited because she's been busy. She's been doing a lot of stuff and she may be a little tired, but there's something here. I think you're looking for some release, healing, this Lovers. Like it could be something, this Queen of Cups too. Like this sense of working smarter, not harder. And also, is your heart still into something that you are doing for your job? That's what I think here. This Queen of Cups is interesting. There may be, this is the buzz I'm getting. There may be a crossroads you're coming to soon. I think this may be happening when Venus goes into Gemini on the 25th of April. But it's starting now with Mercury and Aries in this 8th house, where Virgo, I think you're really contemplating letting go of an income stream, letting go of how you're showing up and serving for, I can't stand that word, but for want of a better word, your public, your career, how you're dealing with your relationship with other people's money. Because I feel like I said, this 9 of Wands, like you've been working very hard, but is the passion and joy still there? And I think this Mercury and Aries, you could be like, I'm just going to keep sacrificing myself. This would be the more lower vibration. This Mercury conjunct Neptune in this 8th house. I'll just keep sacrificing myself for what everybody else needs from me. Powerhouse, 8th house. I'm just going to keep sacrificing. Or I'm going to make the bold decision that I'm going to start figuring out a way to change the dynamic here with my finances, my energy levels, and let go of doing things to earn money that are not aligned with my passions, because your 10th house of career showing up here. I think intuitively you have been sensing this. There needs to be a shift. There's something going on with that. And as I said, when Venus goes into Gemini, end of the month, again, 10th house showing up here, then I think you may have the answers by that point, because that will be after we have this new moon in Aries, which is coming up April 17th, 18th, energizing this 8th house. So maybe by that new moon and a little after it, you'll have like the solution. You'll have the decision clear in your mind how you want to deal with this. But I think that's the key going on here. And so we never want to make knee-jerk reactions, because Aries can be, they just act and they don't think first. So this Mercury in Aries could have you saying F it, as I was just saying to one of the other signs, when maybe that's not in your best interest right now. So this is saying like, operate from a place of clarity, first of all, not this continual self-sacrifice, and figure out with this Lovers card, with this Gemini energy, like really stop and think about what would be the best way to change up whatever you're doing in regards to other people's money and your career in getting paid more, or stopping something you're doing that is draining you and not giving you that passion and joy. Or in Libras, let's see what you need to know. April 12th to the 18th, Mercury heading on into Aries, your opposite sign, your 7th house, meeting up with Neptune on the 16th of April. So there could be all of a sudden a lot of communications with other people. There might be a little feistiness in those communications. But you also need to be very aware of what are people telling you. Are they flat out lying to your face? Which could be Mercury conjunct Neptune on the 16th. Because sometimes the most confident, which can be Aries, the most confident energy, whatever they're saying, it sounds real. And because they present it in such a confident way, you think it's real and you believe it. It may be a big fat Fibonacci with Mercury conjunct Neptune. So keep an eye on that. Let's just see what the energies have to say. But also this is about, are you choosing a bold new dream when it comes to the people you're allowing access to your energy? That's what I really feel. Or are you going to keep sacrificing, especially your mental energy, like letting people take up space in your head? Mercury conjunct Neptune, and sacrificing your mental bandwidth to other people. All right, so let's see what we got. Oh, Page of Swords. Okay. The Empress. Wow. And the Wheel. Ooh, I'm getting chills. Okay, Empress, energy associated with your sign, of course. Venus energy, you're ruled by Venus. We have the Page of Swords, which is Libra. We have the Wheel. So I think that this Mercury in Aries could be very beneficial for you. Just be alert to the day when it's conjunct Neptune with maybe secrets and lies coming out. But this Page of Swords, like, you might give somebody a warning about how you're not going to have 24/7 access to me anymore. This Empress. I think you have been very generous and gracious and giving to somebody close to you. And there's a boundary you're going to draw. I think you want to start a new cycle, this Wheel. You want to start a new cycle that's more beneficial for you because you are the Empress energy. Like, you're not going to change your loving, caring ways. That's who you are as a Libra. Okay, you're not going to change that. However, this Page of Swords, you're either going to assert a boundary, you're going to give a warning, like, don't try my last nerve. Don't keep asking for more. I already gave you what I could give you. Back it up, dude. However you do it, you're going to probably do it in a much more gracious Libra way. But, Mercury's in Aries. It's a little feisty. It could be a back it up dude type conversation. Okay, Venus is in Taurus, which is also this Empress energy. And that is your 8th house of dealing with other people. And also it's in house of power. So that's what I'm feeling like. I'm feeling like you're calling your power back to you in some way this week through some sort of important Page of Swords, little tap on the shoulder, or like, hey, type thing. And you got other things you got going on, the Wheel. I think a new cycle is getting ready to begin for you that you're going to be very invested in with this Empress. And you're just not going to have the time or the energy, the bandwidth to be constantly dealing with somebody who is not aware of the boundaries. So you may have to have a boundary conversation or just show them. Page of Swords, you're just going to show them. It's just, the door is closed, no more access. The number is blocked, whatever it is, whatever it might be. And I do think too, with this Wheel, which is very favorable, that there could be a conversation with somebody new, whether business or personal. Especially, if you're choosing that with this Mercury in Aries, there could be, because Aries is new, the fresh. So there could be some sort of new connection, new association. And as the saying goes, you teach people how to treat you, you're going to have to teach them from the beginning. I think that's another thing here. So it's on you, because we know that, when new people come into our lives, they test the boundaries. So, you may need to just be aware of that with new people coming in also, whether, again, business or personal, whatever new situation you're starting to get involved in, either this week, next week, this month, teach people how to treat you, Libra. Scorpio. April 12th to the 18th, Mercury is moving into Aries, your 6th house of work and well-being. And it'll meet up with Neptune on the 16th. So this could be secrets and lies and Fibonacci's and all sorts of stuff. Gaslighting. So are you going to choose a bold new dream? Are you going to sacrifice yourself? That's also Mercury, Neptune. Delude yourself, sacrifice. What's going on? Let us see. Scorpio. We have a 9 of Swords. Okay. And we have a 10 of Wands. My goodness. But then we have the Fool. Okay. Fool me once. Shame on you. Fool me twice. Shame on me. I think that's how the saying goes, right? Okay. So this 9 of Swords, 10 of Wands, you are like Just close. Just close. To saying F it, to telling somebody where to go, to ending a major cycle of agita, heartbreak, nightmare, drama, energy expenditure that didn't pay off, whatever the scenario might be. I don't think this has anything to do with being gaslit. I think you see the truth very clearly. 9 of Swords, 10 of Wands. And I have to say it's a little painful. I'm sorry. But we have the Fool here, and that is the most important card in this Mishagas of this 9 of Swords and 10 of Wands, okay? Because there is a sense of you choosing your freedom. That's what I think. Aries is a sign of freedom, independence, autonomy. And I think this Mercury going into Aries is giving you the kind of kick in the bum, the impetus, the fire back in your belly, Scorpio, of what in the heck am I doing over here? Putting up with this shenanigans. Somebody could have hijacked your mind a little bit. 9 of Swords, like they got in there and, occupying a lot of space. This 10 of Wands, I think there's been an expenditure of energy, like literal, but also your mental energy. 9 of Swords could have been kind of compromising your physical energy, mind-body connection, all of that. And especially we're talking Mercury in your 6th house. So it's like you realize, I think the minute Mercury goes into Aries, it's this like rubber band elastic, like when it snaps and against, they say that do that if you're trying to break a bad habit, put a rubber band around your wrist and snap it every time you think you're going to do the bad thing. That's not good for you. It's like this energy is that rubber band snapping on your wrist and you're like, I'm out of here. No more of this. Why am I doing this? No. Fool. So good. So good here for you. So good. Just look before you leap. Okay, because there's a Fool, right? And Mercury in Aries, very impulsively oriented. So I think what I would suggest with this Fool is all you have to do is take one step. You don't have to be leaping off a mountain, with this, so to speak, with the Fool energy, the metaphor of the Fool. It's only a metaphor here. Because you've already been coming to terms with this. So it's kind of like ripping off the Band-Aid very, very quickly. Another metaphor for you. Ripping off that Band-Aid so darn fast that, I'm out of here. I'm out of that. So I think this is going to be very liberating for you. There may be some sort of major epiphany. It's Mercury, it's your mind, of your own sense of power to free yourself from shenanigans. Because the 9 of Swords, that card can be somebody, again, metaphor, looking daggers at you. Somebody who is intentionally, they know what they're doing, mind tripping you, guilt tripping you, evil eyeing you, being mean to you, insulting you, criticizing you, all the things. They know what they are doing. They've gotten in your head. No more letting your energy be drained by that. That's what I'm saying. This Fool is so empowering here with this. But take your time, okay? One step at a time. I think the important thing is that you are moving forward. I feel like this sense of just the door is slamming behind you. This sense of reinvigoration, because this is connected with your well-being. This is the 6th house. It's your mental well-being, I feel. And maybe also a little bit your physical because of the 10 of Wands showing up here. So you're like taking back your power. That's what I feel with this energy. And again, just take your time, the Fool. Because Aries, very impulsive. The Mercury is also going to be meeting up with Mars and Saturn. That's another story. But that can be energy where you can trip yourself up, like literally, like fall on your butt. So I don't want you to be rushing around. Just be very mindful, be very careful. But also move yourself one step forward away from that energy. All right, Sagittarius. Let's see what you need to know. April 12th through the 18th. Mercury going into Aries, fellow fire sign, your 5th house of love, romance, creativity, your heart space. Mercury in Aries, a bold new dream in these areas, or when it meets up with Neptune, an illusion, delusion, or big fat lie, or as I like to call them, Fibonacci's. All right, let us see What do we need to know for you? Sagittarius. We have the Chariot and the Lovers. Oh my goodness. Okay. And the Ace of Swords. I am hearing a song in my head, and so I will tell you, it is Go Your Own Way by Fleetwood Mac. Just like to share that with you. Sometimes intuitive information comes via just I hear a quick song in my brain. The path forward. What is it? What is the path forward? Are we saying yes in triumph, the Ace of Swords? Or are we taking that Ace of Swords and saying no in rejection and get lost, loser? Which one is it? It could go either way. It could go either way. This Chariot, which way is it going to go? It could go down this road. It could go down that road. The Lovers, which way is it going to go? You're going to stay with this person. You're going to get with another person, or you're going to be alone. That could be the choice too. Ace of Swords. Has a leopard changed its spots? We have a leopard on this card. Does a leopard ever change its spots? People are who they are. Do you believe they can change? I think people can change. It takes a lot for them to change. And I think it's pretty rare overall, actually, but I do think it's possible. I do. But that's me. You may think otherwise, and that's fine. Okay. So with this Mercury in Aries, this 5th house of your heart space, this is a choice about moving forward on some sort of path having to do probably with a relationship, a creative project, something you're doing for a hobby. You might be trying to make a decision. Should I monetize something I do for fun? That could be another thing you're thinking about, making decisions. I would just say here, because Mercury in Aries can be very impulsive, that you really get that clarity, Ace of Swords, before you make any moves. So going more slowly is going to help you getting the information, Ace of Swords, that you need before you impulsively say yes or no. That is what I would say here, because the Chariot, same thing, very fast moving energy. Rein yourself in. Hold yourself back. Hold your horses. Hold yourself back a little bit. Even though passions may be running high. I mean, we are talking about Aries. We've got the Lovers card here, the Gemini, which is your 7th house of relationships. So particularly those of you trying to decide about some sort of relationship and where it's headed, where it's going. Yes or no, this, that, or the other thing. Calm it down a little, as my mother used to say. She's been really in my brain the last couple of readings I've been doing. Calm yourself down a little bit. Absolutely that Ace of Swords. Choose. Aces for me are about the self, number one. So choose, though, from clarity about yourself, not necessarily what the other person needs, but yourself. What do you need from this romantic connection or marriage, partnership? It could be a business partnership. That's possible also because of this Chariot. So again, there is a little bit of an energy to be aware of. Mercury conjunct Neptune, because Neptune can be in its lower vibration. It can be about lying. In the higher vibration, it is about dreams and visions and spiritual epiphanies and manifesting from a higher vibration. So again, just keep that in mind. So what is this choice going to be? What choice are you going to be making? Time to sit with that and think a little bit before you go off and just say, F it. Capricorn, Mercury in Aries, your house of foundations. The week of April 12th to the 18th, Mercury entering Aries on the 14th and meeting up with Neptune on the 16th. So you may be really needing to deal with the truth of, am I going to boldly move forward with this foundation that I have been building in whatever area of your life? It could be, yes, related to home, but let's look at the 4th house as your foundation. Or am I just going to blindly ignore any cracks or problems and just keep proceeding and doing what I am doing? So that is the thing here. I think there could be a little bit of a reality check about that, about cracks in the foundation. Ignore and just throw all caution to the wind and keep proceeding, or slow yourself down a little bit and build it properly. Let us see. We have the moon and we have the 7 of Wands. So we have moon showing up, home energy, 7 of Wands, teetering on the edge here. And we have the sun. Okay. Interesting. We have the 2 lights. We have the sun and the moon. This is about balance. That's what this is. So 7 of Wands in the regular tarot, that's the one where he's got the wand in front of him and there's people kind of coming at him and he's like this. So let me see what it looks like on this deck. The person's just kind of standing there holding one of the wands. Not too much is going on, but the wands are all in front of her as almost like a barricade. But she is holding on to one to maybe steady herself. But the 7 of Wands is an energy of teetering, balancing. So you're balancing between optimism and doubt. This is what we have here. The doubt of the moon, the shadowy, and then the optimism of the sun. Everything is seen under the sun. There are no secrets. There are no lies. The truth comes out. The sun is a disinfectant, etc. Moon, God only knows what's going on under the moon. Mystery, shadows, ghosts. I mean, whatever's coming out. So this is what I think is going on here. There could be one day you're feeling very optimistic. The next day you're not, about this foundation in your life. So what I would say with this energy is don't give in to either right now. Try to find the middle ground. Do your Capricorn thing, which you're very good at yes, examining the foundations of things, slowing the F down, looking at the structure. How is something being built in your world, whatever it might be that you have going on? And instead of just torching the whole thing to the ground, which is very Aries, or instead of just sacrificing and just saying, it's not ever going to happen, I'm not going to keep building on it. No, just stop. Just stop. 7 of Wands, get your bearings. That's also a little 7 of Wands. Get your energetic bearings and take a balanced approach. Okay? So whatever problem, situation, trying to get a footing, trying to feel grounded, trying to solve a foundational issue in your life, that is what I would say this week. That, is the way to use the energies. And the other thing I would say, if this relates to your literal home, I do think you're going to find the perfect place for yourself if you've been contemplating a move. I'm not saying you're moving this week or this month, but maybe it's coming up like over the summer because we got August energies, July, August showing up here. Actually, even end of June if you want to take this moon. So the summer, June, July, August, if you're thinking there's going to be a move, the same thing. You may not have all the information quite yet. So why are you getting yourself in a tiz about it? I think you are going to find the right place for yourself. Right now, maybe you're doubting it for whatever reason. Maybe there's not the finances currently, or the places you want are too expensive, or they're just not available because people are living in them, whatever. So just know that this situation will find, I think with this Sun card, its happy conclusion over the summertime if this involves some doubts about your living situation or something to do with your home. Aquarius, week of April 12th through the 18th, Mercury moving into Aries, your 3rd house of your mind. On April 14th, meeting up with Neptune, illusions, delusions, but also dreams and visions on the 16th. So your mind might be on overdrive with this energy, especially as all the other energies are gathering in Aries for the new moon in Aries. So your brain might just be whirring at 110 miles an hour with so many different thoughts and perceptions and downloads and epiphanies. But when our brain gets crowded like that, it can sometimes be hard to discern what is true and what is not true. And that is the thing to keep an eye on with Mercury conjunct Neptune on the 16th. All right, let us see. What do we have here? We have the Magician. We have the Lovers. And we have the Nine of Coins. Okay. All right, so Magician, strong manifestation energy, also associated with communication, especially writing. Your fifth house showing up here, the Lovers, the Gemini, ruler of Mercury, also is so associated with writing, communication, sales. You could really have this gift of the gab. You could absolutely. And your gift of the gab, your gift of communication can result in potential pentacles for you with the Nine of Coins showing up here. Okay, this is our Virgo, but Virgo's about integrity. So I'm just mentioning it because we are talking about Mercury meeting up with Neptune. Magician, on its higher vibration, is manifestation through alignment with your natural capabilities. However, the Magician, especially, we don't do reversals with these, but if the Magician is upside down, it's lying. Lying. So the issue here is to maintain integrity and to also expect integrity from other people around you. And you are pretty good. I mean, you are very in tune psychically. But anybody can get fooled by a gaslighter. Anybody can get fooled by a con artist. And especially with the Mercury conjunct the Neptune on the 16th in your third house, just run everything through your BS filter. As I was saying to a couple of the other signs, because this is a very confident energy, this Magician, sometimes people present very confidently. And the way they speak, they're so eloquent. They just blah, 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 you know, and da, da. And so it sounds like they're telling you the truth when really they might be telling you the biggest Fibonacci's on the planet. But it's their presentation and you know. So there's just something here to be very aware of. I think about integrity of communications, the integrity of decision making. And when Mercury is in Aries, the mind can just, as I said, be firing on all cylinders, which is great for idea generation. Like you could have some powerful ideas that could make you money. Absolutely. But when our mind is going too fast, we may miss intuitive signals or we ignore them, little nudges we get. Like, wait a minute, something's not right here. So that's all I'm saying. Slow down. If something is truly valuable, this Lover's card, if it's something you truly want, that's even more a reason to slow down and even more a reason to act from integrity and make sure that those who are around you are also acting with integrity. And also, especially if there is money involved, this Nine of Coins, because this is your eighth house of other people's money. So this is the thing. This is the thing. Now, you know, it's nothing negative. We're really asking, clarifying an astrology transit. So I'm just giving you all the different analysis and permutations based also on the tarot that's coming out here. Everybody's individual situation is different, but I think the important thing is to, make use of this energy in a positive way. As I said, like you could be really empowered, Magician, to manifest wishes of your heart, the Lovers that you feel very strongly about, that can represent or result in some pentacles for you. But if somebody else is pressurizing you, if something sounds too good to be true, Pisces, Mercury moving into your second house to show me the money. It's the week of April 12th through the 18th, your weekly tarot. Let's see what you need to know. Mercury lighting up your house of money on the 14th and then meeting up with your ruling planet on the 16th. So let's see what you need to know. Now, there could be a lot of thoughts about money, talks about contracts. lots of communications about finances. The highest vibration of your ruling planet, Neptune, is visions, dreams, spiritual integrity, spiritual alignment, and pursuits with high ideals. The lower vibration is lies, secrets, lies, Fibonacci's. So you have to be aware of that. Now, I've told that to every sign this week. Okay. It may be slightly mitigated for you because it is your ruling planet, but I would say it's more important for you not to gaslight yourself this week. Okay. On what you're choosing to do with your money or money decisions. 8 of Wands and the Page of Wands and the 3 of Cups. All right. Now, 3 of Cups is a nice energy. That is joy and celebration. It's lighthearted. It's like, wow, I got some good news. 8 of Wands, things picking up, but also notice she has a bow and arrow. There is a target she is aiming at. Page of Wands, things are in motion. So I would say make sure you're very clear on your target, 8 of Wands here, on what you are setting in motion and is it aligned with joy and your energy. 3 of Cups, which for me is a Pisces energy. There could be some news perhaps about a creative endeavor or effort and something resulting from it, a ball getting rolling, because Neptune also represents the arts, which is what's showing up here with the 3 of Cups. So any of you in the arts, entertainment, music, dance, the creative arts, writing, all the things, the creative stuff. There could be something you've already been putting out there. There could be news coming in this week, even next week about it. There could be some good news, but it's a first step. Because of the page here, there's a first step with something going on. There also could be something you're choosing this week artistically to focus on. That's also possible. And you're choosing it from your joy, 3 of Cups. There could be a lot of different options that you have to work with this 8 of Wands. Like you have this project, they have that art painting, you have this musical composition, you have this, that, the other thing. So it could be this week, especially when Mercury conjuncts your ruling planet. If this is artistically related, it could be you finally settle on maybe the 1 or 2 things that you really want to move forward with and focus on. So that's also possible here. So I don't see anything, negative here. I would just make sure as I said, what your goals are, what you're aiming at. And I also think with the 8 of Wands and this, the Page of Wands, it is time to stretch yourself a little bit. Have you ever used a bow and arrow? Let me know in the comments. I used to do archery when I was a kid, and it always surprised me. Of course, it's the kids, right? It's the kid bow and arrow. But it always surprised me at how it was kind of hard to pull that bow back, and let alone, it's the easy part to let it go, but to get that tension in the string and the bow, it's not easy. So I think there's something here about challenging yourself a little bit in what you are going to pursue. And that's that Aries energy, that Mercury in Aries, that bold new adventure. And not to settle for the same old thing that maybe you have been doing, especially like artistically or creatively in some way, is what I would say. Is to play to your strengths a little bit, push yourself a little bit, have that new adventure, Page of Wands, with your creativity, 3 of Cups. Because if you're wanting to manifest more resources for yourself, that may be how it ends up happening, is when you break out of the same old and push yourself a little bit. So thank you so much for joining me for your weekly tarot reading, April 12th through the 18th, Mercury going into Aries on the 14th, meeting up with Neptune on the 16th. And of course, we are building to that big, bold, and bodacious new moon in Aries energy on the 17th, 18th, depending on where you are in the world. So check out all the other videos on the channel. Make sure you hit subscribe and the bell so you do not miss the videos that are coming up. Lots coming on the channel. I've already been doing a lot of videos on Aries energy. If you want to dive more deeply into those, I will also put links in the description of this particular video. As always, I appreciate you guys so much hitting that like button, sharing the videos out, hyping them out. All of that engagement really helps my channel, and I appreciate you very, very much. Special shout out to the channel members. I see you. I love you. I appreciate your support every month. It means a lot to me. Thank you so much. Love you guys. Take care. I will see you again soon. Have a great week. Stella Wilde, signing out.